my friends, well, if you've been following along, you guys have seen the second gen build that we just got completed. It is done top to bottom, except for one final piece that we have been waiting to install. And today is the day that we're gonna be taking care of that. This is pretty applicable for anyone with a 98 to an 02 second gen. Honestly, it's applicable to any diesel truck out there, period, because the factory kind of sucks across the board, but it is actually the lifeblood and probably the most important thing that you're ever going to take care of or upgrade on your 98 to 02 Dodge Ram Cummins with the VP44 injection pump. And if you guys have one, you already know where I'm going, but the factory fuel pump, the factory lift pump on these trucks is absolutely garbage. And what happens is the fuel pressure from the pump or from the tank up to your injection pump, if it goes weak, if it goes out, if it goes to zero, if it's low, it basically kills the VP44 high pressure injection pump, which is way more expensive. It is a way bigger pain in the butt, and it's not something that you want to have happen because it's completely preventable with upgrading your low pressure fuel pump, your lift pump, whatever you want to call it. So this truck specifically, thankfully, already has an upgrade on it, but it's not quite up to snuff with where we want to leave this truck after we're done with it. So it's hard to see down in there. It's really hard to see in the wheel well liner, but this has a FASS DRP or DDRP, which is a Dodge direct replacement pump, which goes on the side of the block. Still uses the factory fuel filtration on the truck, but takes care of a weak OEM pump. Well, we're gonna ditch that as well and go to the tippy top of the upgrades. You guys know that we really love our air dogs around here, so we have got a brand new, latest and greatest AirDog 5G 165. We're also going to be using the Diesel RX fuel sump that we're going to kind of pair everything together from the guys over at AirDog, and that is going to ensure that this build is going to have a long, happy life with good fuel pressure, clean fuel, water separation, the whole 9 yards. The fuel system is going to be operating tip-top shape when it leaves here and goes to one of you guys. Now, if you've been living under a rock and you don't already know, this is our latest giveaway truck, and this is going to be under the Christmas tree for one of you guys. We're also running a super limited edition blackout bundle bag that can get you guys 20 times more entries than normal. Right now, it's available on the website while they last. When they're gone, they're gone. But we've got a hoodie bundle, which gives you the hoodie and a bunch of other stuff inside this super cool blackout bag. And if a hoodie isn't your cup of tea, well, we've also got a blackout hat bag, which gives you the hat, a whole bunch of all the other stuff in the bag as well. So 2 bags that can get you guys 20 times entries to win the truck. The giveaway ends very soon though. December 6th, this upcoming Wednesday, or I'm not sure when this video is going to go up, but pretty much I'm assuming that's going to be somewhere around the last week of the giveaway. So your chances on taking this bad boy home, the keys plus 10 grand, are coming to a close. So make sure you guys go to our website, you go to wrenchworks.com, and you grab anything on the website at all. Any merch, any supplies, rock lights, doesn't matter. Even gift cards to get you entries, it all automatically counts towards winning this truck. The coolest thing about this thing ending on December 6th is that we are going to have a winner before Christmas, and one of you guys is going to come down here and pick this truck up with the $10,000 and have it home and show up to all of your Christmas festivities in your new truck, which is so cool. I'm super excited, but you got to take that chance. You got to go get entered at wrenchworks.com. I guarantee you all of our previous winners never thought it was going to be them. They got entered on a slight chance. We've got tons of stuff loaded up on the website. I know your wardrobe isn't that good, but anyway, let's get into installing our new AirDog on this truck. I'm going to run you guys through it top to bottom, some tips and tricks that I've learned over the years from doing all this stuff, installing the sump, and the whole 9 yards. So let's get into our lift pump install. Did I mention the truck is a 6-speed? Now, first thing that I'm going to recommend is making sure that your fuel tank is not completely full before you go ahead and drain your tank if you're going to install a sump. A sump just makes it very easy. Installs on the, did I mention it has amp steps? Did I mention it has a second gen with amp steps? So on the sump, it's going to install on the bottom side of your fuel tank. And with any, I would say, AirDog system, you've got 3 lines. You've got a inlet to the pump, an outlet to the engine, and then a return from the actual pump back into the tank. Now the sump is gonna make it super easy because you are gonna be able to run your feed from the tank to the pump and the pump return back to the sump. And again, you guys will see all of this. I'll show you everything, but the sump makes it super easy. Very nice addition to any lift pump install. Step number 1, make sure you don't have a full tank of fuel because it's gonna create a mess. We're gonna go ahead and get our location for putting our fuel sump in. We're gonna start draining our tank. We're gonna unbox everything from the boxes. We're gonna get everything kind of like pre-assembled and set up, and we'll go from there. All right, tank is draining. Our pilot hole is drilled. We'll go back and finish that out with the appropriate hole saw, but I usually go ahead and make a little saucer dish for our pilot hole. That way, if you're not quick, fuel doesn't get all over and inside of your nice drill. So went ahead and dumped the first little bit of fuel out in a dump bucket, and we're gonna save the rest of that fuel that should be clean, and it's gonna get filtered again before it goes to the engine, so I might as well save that fuel, seeing that fuel is pretty expensive. How expensive is it by you? But we're gonna save that, should be good, and we'll continue on with the install once that tank is done draining. Oh, did you see this? Did you see this? Now, if you look closely right here, take a look at this truck on the cover of AirDog's instructions. That's almost as cool as ours. This one, it's good. I heard it makes a lot of power, but I don't know. Just something about this front bumper that I don't know. I think our truck's a little bit cooler than the one. Maybe they need to update this picture with Wrenchworks giveaway number 14. That's all I'm saying. That is for sure. We can send them a picture. You got AirDog, reach out. If you want to update this picture, get you a little upgrade on the cover photo here, I got you covered. All right, so just so everyone's aware here, this is a prime example of why we always put connectors on our rock lights on our wheel wells, because just like that, in case you want to take your liner out, because who knew that we were going to need to service an AirDog or put an AirDog on, your connector here is going to save you from fighting this being right in your way. So that's why we take the time to run weather pack connectors on all of our rock lights. The more you know. Also, shameless plug of the video, did you guys know Wrenchworks has teamed up with DB Automotive to give you guys your very own rock light kit that can get you entered to win this exact very truck here. So you all can stunt just like we do with the rock lights, but they're from Wrenchworks, but they are the same DB Automotive 24 LED rock lights that we run on pretty much everything. We've been running them for, shoot, the last few years. So tried, true, tested, warranted, come in 4, 8, 12, and 16 piece kits, and they can get you entered to win the truck. They're not the cheapest, but I stand behind them, and I know that they are solid.
Hey man, we just get a fresh restock of those?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, they're in stock now. They were out of stock, but they are also in stock now. Limited. Get them while you can. When they gone, they gone. Just like the limited edition blackout hoodies.
God.
That light will still work. We can test it. That light will still work. Did you? Anyway, we gotta get work done. AirDog actually gives you these nice steel brackets here that basically sandwich your frame, and you can kind of mount the pump up and down on these. What we've actually been doing recently, and I know this works on a 3rd gen because we just did one on our last giveaway truck, which is a 3rd gen, and this 2nd gen here. What we're gonna end up doing, and what I marked right here, is we're actually just going to bend this provided bracket and use these 2 holes right here, and then we're actually going to mount this up in this section of the truck here, and then the pump is going to sit, imagine this is basically bent and flat and bolted, and this pump, which I don't have 4 sets of hands, let's see if we can do this. We're gonna attach the pump like this, and then have this side be our bent side so that the pump can actually mount up in right in this location. On a regular cab truck, it's pretty hard to find ample space. We've got amp steps in the way. So I like this section It's kind of like a big dead negative cavity in this this bed realm area right here, and it's real easy to be in line with your sump. So that's where I prefer to mount them, but real easy tip and hack is, and I'll show you guys the finished product, but I'm gonna basically heat this up, bend this over, and then remount some holes, and we'll have a nice clean tucked up out of the way. I'm sorry, but if you got your filters hanging all the way down, not up in here. Not up in here, folks. All right, so let's bend this bracket, and then we can mount that pump. That is our bracket in a nutshell, our new one. We went ahead and drilled our sump hole for our diesel RX sump. It's kind of nice. This one's black, it's nice, it's sleek. It is designed almost the same way with other ones that we've used. It's actually got 2 O-rings on it right here, and it's got this indexing pin to kind of sandwich that in there. So it seems nice. I've never used this style before, but it's got 2 really nice big O-rings. And it's black, it's sleek, it uses a 2-inch hole saw, which is a little bit smaller, which is nice. Same concept of an O-ring on the single bolt attachment point, and then also has O-ring kind of threads right here, just like all the other ones as well. And like I said before, we can feed and return off of the pump just from this. So imagine this is our fuel tank. We've got our sump, we've got our pump, we have got our feed to the pump, our return back from the pump right here to our fuel tank, and then this line right here, it might be actually opposite, good thing they're labeled, inlet. All right, inlet like this. So you're incoming this way, out this way, and we're gonna return back to the tank, all with our sump with the supplied fittings. But real nice, clean, easy, and the thing that I like about doing it this way is, you know, pump and sump location on the fuel tank, we're talking maybe a 2-3 foot run of hose. So it's all short, it's all simple, it's all tucked away, it's all nice and hidden. But it's not rocket science what we do with the brackets, but it does make a world of difference as far as like putting that pump in a nice location. So what we're gonna do is we're going to run some fuel through the fuel tank, just flush out anything else that I cleaned up. Make sure you wanna deburr from your hole saw real quick. So we are pretty much ready to mount our sump, mount the pump, run the lines. We're gonna do a little spray can job on that with the same undercoating that we use, and we'll be ready to run lines to the front of the engine and then work underneath the engine and get this bad boy wrapped up. That hand tight for now, because what I like to do is I'll usually get the pump set next. That way I can kind of like see my line routing, and if this needs to kind of like pivot or move or snake however we need to move it, usually leave it loose. That way it just kind of like rotates around a little bit freer, and we can kind of like run our lines, get our pump set next. Nice and clean. All right, so I'm a huge fan of basically taking out anything in the system that isn't really being used anymore, including the factory fuel filter housing. So unlike common rails, the return side of the fuel system doesn't run through any part of this fuel filter housing. Obviously, with a new fuel line from our new pump all the way up to our VP44 injection pump, we're not utilizing any of the factory fuel filtration or any of the lines. So we went ahead and removed this. Now, I know it's going to be hard to see inside there. Dawson's going to try and get a shot, but what I want to kind of explain is your factory fuel line comes up the frame rail and comes up, and in this case hits the DRP replacement pump on the side of the block, picking up power from the factory ECM plug, and then that's basically pulling fuel all the way from your tank all the way up to the pump and then pushing it through here and into your VP44. So we're gonna basically take out anything we don't need, including the DRP pump in there, and we're gonna run a brand new line, obviously from our new AirDog all the way up straight into our VP44 pump. So gonna take this out, gonna take the old pump out, gonna clean up all that stuff in there and kind of remove anything we don't need. Now this truck specifically, like I said, no return runs through this, so you don't need like a fuel filter delete block that Fleece sells for like a common rail. That's all kind of separated in these trucks, so we don't need to actually touch any part of the return system. It's gonna function exactly how it was. All we're playing with is the feed on this truck, so to say. So this truck did have like a cracked, it started to like dry rot and crack, the hose that was coming into here too. On top of that, it also had what looked to be like a little lawnmower inline fuel filter on this as well. So we're getting rid of all that stuff, doesn't belong on there, and all new, all fresh, ready to go. So we're pretty much just about wrapped up. All we need to do is run that new line, clean this stuff up, run our wiring harness, and that's about it. We'll be wrapped up. We'll be able to put fuel in this thing, fire this thing up. So we're getting there. Don't look. You're not allowed to look over here exactly what we're doing, okay? Don't look over in the direction of the first gen, okay? We didn't save. I'm talking to Michael up there. Stop it. We're not sealing fuel from the first gen because I don't feel like running out to get fuel from the fuel station. We're just gonna pump it out of this tank. I'll fill this sucker right up. Hey, I found some fuel. All right, well, we didn't save enough fuel from over there and I don't feel like running out, so we just took the line off the pump over here and we're just gonna pump some in there. It's okay, we need to put winter fuel in this anyway. All right? What are you looking at? It's fine. We're just making sure that...
Where'd you get that fuel can?
Your shop? From the 05. I robbed Peter's entire family to pay Paul. Let's put it that way. But you already know this. When's your haircut coming, dude? I'm sorry. Okay. I just don't have a plan to shut it off yet. Oh, I should probably maybe shut the key off. This is where I make a mess like every other time. All right. Look at that. Insto presto. Just found 5 gallons of fuel. We can now fire up the second gen. But last but not least, it is now time to flush all the new lines out before we hook it up to our new injection pump. The whole point is to protect this pump, and the last thing I want to do is send any sort of dirt or dust or anything that's in that fuel line. When you cut them up, it just doesn't matter. Before it hits the pump, I always try and run the key cycle, flush some out, which I've got into a tube right here, so we're going to do that. But new fuel line is in, wiring harness is done, it's all zip tied up, everything is pretty much ready to go. We're gonna flush this line out, hook up our last line to the pump, and we should be good to go. I also put in our fuel pressure gauge. That was right here. That was in the previous setup as well, so we can monitor fuel pressure here on our display. Let's put this key in. And there we go. Here she comes. All right. Good to go. Lines are clean. We'll hook it up to the pump. We'll cycle the key just to check fuel pressure. Fuel pressure is down there, right in the line. If you guys can see that. It's back off of the inlet for the pump. All new 1/2-inch line, black line, looks nice, looks clean. Got all this cleaned up in here. We're ready to rip. Ready for years and years of trouble-free, clean fuel. And there we go. Got the line hooked back up to the pump. Cycle it a few times. And we are on the money. I know it's a little hard to see with the rock light, but super happy with the way that that bracket turned out and how well that is hidden. Also relocated that rock light that way it wasn't tucked up and casting kind of weird shadows. But as you can see here, that's how far under you have to get this thing to see that. So those things are sitting right about here. So you don't see anything, you just see the lines for the sump, and we're looking super good. Very happy with the way this install went. Fire in the hole! Right on the money. So, I would say when you go to start this thing up, if it's been sitting with the fuel open out of the pump, just expect to like cycle it a few times and let it run for a little bit, and everything should go back to normal, no problem. But that's a wrap, Jack. Brand new AirDog 5G pump on the giveaway truck. Have you gotten entered yet? Guys, that's pretty much going to wrap up this video. Hopefully you guys found something in this video useful for you guys. If you have a 24 valve, this is very specific, but again, any diesel truck really benefits from an aftermarket lift pump like an AirDog, like a lot of other pumps out there. Really, you want the best filtration, you want good fuel pressure to your high pressure injection pump. Doesn't matter if it's a Duramax, if it's a Ford, if it's a Dodge. Fuel pressure is a big thing, and clean fuel is a very big thing, not only for high pressure injection pumps, but injectors, overall health. So make sure you guys have some type of good system like an AirDog 5G on whatever truck that you have. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys get entered for the giveaway. Ending, doll, what are we at? I mean,
9 days?
8 days, 9 days, doesn't really matter. This truck going to one of you guys, plus 10 grand. It's coming to a close. Cool thing is, right before Christmas. So make sure you guys get entered. Go to wrenchworks.com, grab. We have tons of stuff on there. Again, we have the rock lights, tons of stuff for Christmas, gift cards, doesn't matter. Get entered. We'll see you guys in the next video very, very soon. See ya.